It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Positive thinking people, positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, every Monday night, every Wednesday night, Good evening. Welcome everyone to just joining in. Here we are, another day, another Monday. It's Motivation Monday. Running a little behind. I'm on downtime for real. Just a lot of good things going on around me. But as you know, I'm dedicated to coming to you. We won't be long, but it's Motivation Monday, so I want to give you some motivational conversation. And just want to first give honor and praise to God to everything that He's doing around me and how He's opening my eyes and my heart to be able to receive wisdom and knowledge and be able to share it. So with that said, let's keep on moving on, right? So my topic today is our ancestors' legacy, the ancestors' legacy. And so also, before I even go anywhere, I want to do, I have the young ladies' stuff that we picked up over the weekend for, I wanted to promote her product. And I didn't bring it in here with me. But her name is Jay. She has a protein product that I definitely want to share with you. And it's amazing. So what I want to do is see if we can get our hands on that. Yeah. So legacy, ancestors, the importance of that. In so many areas, our ancestors are really important to us on all levels. And I was having this conversation with this young lady, and she brought something up to me. And I was wondering, sometimes God be giving you messages and things He wants you to share. So I understood that when she was sharing with me, she said something that was so profound and was really important. And she talked about the ancestry legacy of our past, and it's important. It's really important that we pay attention to the legacy of the past and our ancestors. I know some people are going to be noticed. Yeah, I messed around and I cut my beard off. These are some military wounds from a while back that I cover up with my beard. And I thought that they kind of went away. And so I'm not, doing no metamorphosis or anything like that. But anyway, so let me stay on point in my conversation. So, our ancestors, how important it is for us to really go back and reminisce with the ones that we still have, think about the things that we were taught when it comes to them, and how important it is for us to remember what the ancestors told us. I don't know. I got to ask you, Azim, did you realize the girl last name is Gray?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I just noticed that. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. That's something. I just looked at that. But the young lady name, we call her name is Jakisha. Jakisha. Jakisha Gray. Um, we had a just an amazing conversation the other day, which was yesterday actually. And I don't like when somebody shares some information with me that I try to make like it's me that came up with this knowledge or something. But so I give credit where credit is due. So this was something, a message that she shared with me, and she literally was telling me, um, how we should just remember our ancestors, right? So, and before I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the introduction of her product, give you information on how to go about getting it and things of that nature in a few minutes. So, talking about our ancestors. So, we were talking about how things were back, a few years ago, and we talking about generations of things that then happened. So I started to. We was talking about how kids are out of control and things of that nature. And the young lady said something that was so profound. She said that we have gotten into a situation where we weren't getting the information from our ancestors like God intended us to do. The wisdom comes from our individuals who's been on the earth longer than you, which would be me to my granddaughter. I will be her ancestor. I will be the wisdom that she should be seeking right now. If we think about it, I can think about all the main things that I really learned that was so profound in my life. I learned from my grandfather and my grandmother. Really, some of the things that my mom and my dad told me, they stuck. But when my grandparents told me something, it was straight up wisdom. These are our ancestors. Now, we're talking about losing that connection with our ancestors, and that's what's happening with this generation of kids. A lot of them don't have that wisdom being shared with them. They're not getting that unconditional love. They're not getting that sit down situation where they straight up hearing the raw truth, and they're not getting those old time prayers. Then that's why they don't have no respect for life. They don't have no respect for nobody else. They don't even have respect for themselves. Do you remember when you went into the elder's house and you walked in, and if you had your hat on, you said, "Boy, take that hat off." Or a young or some lady that you was walking down the street and you saw her get ready to go in the door and you walked in before her, the first thing she said, "You don't have no manners." You remember that? Do you know it was back then that don't be talking with food in your mouth, or they tell you, "Did you bless your food?" Or the elders will tell you, "Don't go out there with dirty drawers on, dirty panties." What if you get hit by a car or something happened? They got to take you to the hospital. You want them to? They're gonna take your clothes off and see your dirty underwear. Always change your socks. So they taught you all of these things. These are the answers. And I'm just talking about very simple things. We're talking about, how the elder guys would tell you, say, "Man, you want to get out there and work for your money, man. You want to always keep some money in your pocket." I always remember the older guys always said, "Keep a couple dollars in your pocket. You don't want to go anywhere broke." We used to have phone booths. So they always used to say, "Make sure you got a dime or quarter. Make sure you got enough to be able to call home because you never know. You never know when you're gonna need that help." The ancestors were profound. They were profound. And so when we talk about this, we got to think how important it is for us to pay attention to our ancestors, the messages that they gave us, and us that are in this situation of being the elders right now. Get in your position. Take your chair. Take your chair and be responsible for your actions. Take your chair to be responsible to share your knowledge. I don't care what it is. If a brother went to penitentiary and you got some young nephews and young sons and all of them coming up under you, you need to be talking to them and let them know that penitentiary ain't the place where they want to go. You as an elder, is your responsibility to make sure that you share that information. If there's anybody young listening to this program or you see it later, remember to go to your grandparents and sit down and have a conversation and ask what it was like before the computers came out. Let me tell you, I'm only 63 years old, but I remember seeing the CD come. I remember seeing the microwave come. I remember seeing uh, 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 the color TV. I remember seeing all these things. I remember seeing them come and looking at what we are today. Where we are today is really really amazing what we have accomplished and where we're going. So hello, Darlene, how you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Good to see you. I'm trying to look for something because I always want to show some love and support to everybody that's doing some things and just be a support system to everyone that's out here trying to be positive. And I'm talking about individuals who are living in the positions of the ancestors as of today. So, with that said, I'm going to take an opportunity. I'm going to come back to my conversation because I know a lot of times they say, stay on point with the conversation. We talk about ancestors. We talk about our elders. We talk about the positions where we're supposed to be and where we get our wisdom and knowledge from. But I wanted to take this opportunity to just share something real quick. This is a hometown young lady that's doing some amazing stuff. Darlene Smith, I see she's on here, and they have a play is just getting ready to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's called A Woman's Love. And I was looking at the trailer of the play, and I was tickled because I already know this is going to be an amazing play. And I'm hoping, Darlene, that if it's some information you can put on here so that people will be able to follow you, support you, and the cast of this play, and let us know exactly that if the play is coming out of the DC area, we got to make sure that we acknowledge this play and please. Anytime that it's going to be where I can come in and be in the midst of the audience, I definitely want to be there to show my support. So I just wanted to take that moment just to say, congratulations to you, Darlene. I'm very, very proud of you and what you're doing. And the name of the play is it's called Woman's. Wait a minute. It's called. Let me make sure I get that right. It's called A Woman's Love. A Woman's Love. And so I just was looking at the trailer and I was so tickled. But it's always good when you see somebody and see them follow in their dreams and get excited behind it. And so while I'm taking that opportunity to do that too, let me also go and give a shout out to this young lady. This young lady, this is pro tagging. It's pro tagging. Everybody needs it. Okay. Now, I know you can't really see all the information on this, but let me tell you something. I'm going to give you. It's no preservatives, low calories, sugar free, no grit. Okay. And this is a protein powder to add to water, and it's going to give you energy. It's going to help you. Now, let me tell you. See, I ain't gonna sit on here and lie because I haven't tried it yet. But I was listening to people when we was at this event yesterday, and I heard several people who are living by it. Leslie Shepard, one of the former NFL retired football players, he was in the midst. Brian Mitchell and a few other individuals who was just in there. They was just talking about the product, and it tastes good. Y'all might have heard that voice coming back from behind the screen. That was actually Lady Z who actually had the opportunity to taste it. And but what was so profound was this is another business, man, that they are doing some things to help us to move forward. So again, I wanted to just do a shout out to this young lady, and it says water-based protein, collagen. It's no preservatives, low calories, sugar free, and no grit. And I guess if you want to get the information is www.protagein.com. C-O-M. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time. www.protagein.com. Okay? You want to definitely check into this. You want to call the owner. The number is 202-880-2524. You can let them know that you got the number from off the People to People podcast. We showing love and support. You want to find out about something. We talk about natural stuff to help you move forward. This is to help you with your energy. It's going to help you get your proteins. When a lot of us at out, anybody that's over 50, this is very, very important. So I highly recommend that you would give that young lady, her name is Miss Gray, 202-880-2524. Call her and find out about her product. I'm gonna tell you, you won't be sorry. And the reason why I know that because some people that I deal with on a daily basis, I know they're very serious about the things that they do, and Mr. Shepherd is one of them. So I definitely want to show the love and support. And actually, I was given several packs of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink one of them tomorrow morning. I just want to see how it makes me feel going into the day, and then I'll do another one the following day as well. So let me get back to my conversation because we're not going to be real long. We only got probably about 20 more minutes. But talk about our ancestors is really, really important. So we want to know. You want to know some things, go to one of the old heads. Go to your grandmothers. Go to your grandfathers. I'm talking about people that's 70, 80, 90 years old. Talk to them. I remember my mom was talking to me, and my mother was telling me, my mother's 92 years old, and my mother was telling me about how they used to have to go stand in the line for 2 hours, 2 hours to get a cup of sugar, right? And I couldn't understand that. 2 hours? Man, that's a long time to be standing in line. But when we talk about the way we are moving in this day and time, you can get some sugar in less than 30 seconds. Because all you got to do is knock on your next door neighbor's door and say, yo, you have any sugar? And 9 out of 10, they got it. And if you have a good relationship, they're going to give it to you. But where are we? Where are we right now with everything that we're doing? We got to go back to what the ancestors were doing. How was they dealing with things? How are they surviving? We go back. Our ancestors weren't out there being physically aggressive with one another. We did have problems, and they had problems, and it was still crime, but it was a little different. And a lot of things that was going on back then, people had morals behind it. So we got to get back to going to our ancestors to talk about these things. Find out where we went wrong. Why are our kids so out of control? Why are we out of control? Here, just because I'm 63, that's still young. I still got a hump in my back that it works. So I ain't claiming to be old. I think that when you're old is when you just giving up. You know what I mean? I know there's some people in the 80s that's really doing very well, moving just like they was 40 or 50. So, but a lot of that came from the information they got from their ancestors, their elders. As we know, God has a conversation about the elders in the Bible. That's what He wants us to do. So here we got the young people out here. We got to get them where they're starting to come back and get the information from us so that we can be able to give them the proper information on how to survive. You have a young kid around you, take your positions as an elder, as a wise man, as a wise woman. Sit them down and talk about the way things was. Our kids, man, they taking so much for granted. They got access to everything from TVs, radios, computers. Now we got our young kids they probably 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and they got cell phones, which really they shouldn't have. I know that back in the day, if the cell phones had came out when my grandmother and grandfather was alive, they probably would have looked at my parents and say, you done lost your mind that you went out and bought that child a cell phone to be sitting around being able to observe things that's unnecessary for their mind to comprehend at 5, 6 years old. And we wondering why they walking around acting crazy. We got kids out here right now don't have a problem with shooting anybody because of the things that some of us have allowed them to come in contact with. Can you imagine you allowing your kid to play the war games all the time and he's shooting people and blowing them up? And then one day, you put a gun in his hand, he pulls the trigger, and then next day, he finds that's almost like something that he's been practicing to do. But as elders, we should be able to come and just step in and work on these things. Now, when I'm talking to the individuals who should be paying attention, like the elders that have grandchildren, all of us, sit them down. Sit them down. We're in a different time, but sit them down and talk to them. Sit them down and let them know about moving forward in a positive way. I've been doing that with some of the young kids. I got these young boys that come around my block, and they walk around and they call me Pops. Hey, Pops, how you doing? I'm all right, man. And so what I did is I lured them a little bit. A couple times, I gave them $5 because I didn't want them to go get in no trouble. So I said I gave them $5 2-3 times. After a while, they was thinking every time they saw me, I was gonna give them $5. Say, no, Bray don't operate like that. I say that was basically a little trick so that I can put something in your head. So now understand this. A lot of people do things like that for the wrong reason, but it's important that we understand it's good when you have a good intention. Somebody just wrote, it says, preach, preacher, love it. Keep speaking for the common sense folks, and prayer that's prayerfully will act on this. There you go. Don't mind me, y'all. I got my glasses right here. I can see with them. Yeah, I put them on, but I take them off because of y'all see the little light in there. But let me get back to that again. So let me tell you how I handle these little guys, right? So the guys, they coming by, so I let them know, they got the $5, boom, boom, boom. Then I had to get them where they started really expecting me to give them money. I said, do you tell your mom and dad that I'll be giving you money? One of them said, no. I say, tell them. I want you to tell them. Say, this man around the corner keep giving me $5, $2, $3. Tell them and see what they say to you. And so they was laughing at me. I said, I guarantee you they're going to say, you better be careful. Why is that man giving you money? But see, that's the wisdom of an elder, right? Something that's small. I'm just showing you how it works. See, I could be a predator. And if you're not giving individuals the common sense in the conversation, then they don't know how to protect. They don't know how to protect themselves, nor do they know how to detect someone who has some devilish intentions. So with these guys, now I'm showing you we elders, right? And this is our responsibility. So as the young guys ride past, long story short, eventually I end up meeting their parents and their grandparents. I let them know why I was doing that. I say, I am my sister's and brother keeper. I mentor to all young kids and to some parents as well. So that's just what I do. I said, but I was the one that was suggesting that they tell you that I was giving them money because I wanted you to know what my purpose was. So really what I was doing, I was luring them into having conversation with me so that I could start putting them to work in my backyard. See, I didn't want to have to get the leaves up all the time by myself. I didn't want to have to wash the car all the time by myself. And I'm seeing these young guys. I said, well, what we can do is I can kind of like help them move forward in a positive way and let them make a couple dollars and also give me an opportunity to put something in their head to think about. So as I was doing that, as an elder, as a wiser person with wisdom, I had my purpose. And this is what God intended us for all of us to do. He want us to be just that. We're supposed to be talking to them about God. We're supposed to be talking to them about morals. Let me tell you something. Every time them young boys go by me, I see their pants hanging down. I say, man, pull your pants up, bro. Pull them up. So now when they come up to me, they start pulling their pants up immediately. I'm not going to stand around you, and I don't want to see the color of your drawers, none of that. And I tell them that. And then I sit down and I talk to them. So sometimes I give them a couple dollars for not doing anything. As an elder, I'm doing my responsibility. I'm trying to educate them for the future so that they can be able to help us as we move forward. Because I'm going to tell you something. Us who are sitting back doing nothing, we are just as guilty as the young boy that pulled the trigger. We are. You don't say nothing until he pull the trigger in your front yard. But if you could be one of those individuals that can touch, sometimes just see a kid looking over there and he looking sad. Look at him and say, hey, man, anybody tell you they love you today? Say it to him. Yo, man, I love you. He might even cuss you out, but so what? At least he is going to think about it. He said, some old man talk about you love me. And then another elder going to say, well, that's good. Because guess what? Not everybody going to tell you that. So we got to, as elders, we got to understand our position. And God's upset with a lot of us. He is. Because we got to the point we're afraid to even open our mouth. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about the wisdom of the past. You don't want to live in the past, but you sure don't want to forget where you came from. You don't want to be in a position where you forget about your morals and your respect for one another. We have to do that. My granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, my oldest one, she has a tendency to talk kind of sarcastic to me. And when she do, I correct her. Yo, I'm not your friend. Don't talk to me like that. You don't want nobody talking to you like that. And guess what? She started running into some complications. And now every time she say it, I say, what did I tell you? That's the wisdom. As an elder, I'm teaching her as they go. Them young boys that now come through here, let me tell you, I got one of them knock on my door, not every Sunday, but at least every other Sunday. He say, Pops, do you got any work for me? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. What I did a couple of Sundays ago, I taught him something else. As an elder, I taught him something. So I gave him $10 a couple of weeks ago because we was getting ready to go somewhere or whatever, and I ain't have time. And one of the other boys that was out there had kind of beat me for a couple of dollars because I paid him to do a job and he didn't finish it. So he can't come get no money from me no more, right? So I'm, as an elder, I'm schooling them right now, okay? So the one who been handling his business, he knocked on the door. The other one, they kind of didn't do the right thing. He was standing outside on the sidewalk, and the little guy came up and he said, Pops, you got any work for me? I said, nah, man, I'm getting ready to roll up out of here. I don't have any work for you. And he was looked at me. I said, what's wrong? He said, I just needed a couple of dollars. I said, hold on a minute. I ran upstairs. I asked my wife, babe, you got any money? My wife came downstairs with $10. Gave me $10. I gave it to him, right? He said, all right, thanks, Pop. I said, all right, man, stay out of trouble. I'll see you, okay? So he came back again. He came back a week later or so, and I was working I was in the house, and he came and asked me that I had something for him to do. And it was some leaves in my corner of the yard that I really wanted out of the way. So I said, you know what? I do have something for you to do. And so I took him out and back, and he saw them leaves piled in the corner, and I saw the look on his face. I started laughing because I ain't want to mess with him. So I know he ain't want to mess with him. But I figured this, if he wanted to earn some money, you got to do what you got to do, bro. You're going to have to get dirty a little bit. So anyway, so I asked him, I said, well, how much you think the job is worth? Now, he think he getting me, right? He trying to be a little slick. So what he say? He said, well, Pops, maybe $30. I said, you say $30? He said, that's a lot of leaves, Pop. I say, okay, my man. All right. I think it's worth $30. So he got happy. So he started getting the leaves up and everything. I said, but can we talk for a minute? And he looked at me. I said, I need you to look me in my eyes because I'm getting ready to talk some knowledge to you right now. I said, last week when you knocked on my door, I said, didn't I give you $10? He said, yes. I said, did you work for it? He said, no. I said, do you feel like you owe me for the $10? He was a little slow at responding, but he said, yes. See, he thought I was getting ready to break him down and take $10 off the 20. Because I had said I was going to give you $20, but you saying 30, right? And I see it's a lot of leaves. So, okay, $30. So he looking at me and I say, now, but I want you to think about this now. I'm going to show you how it works in this world, right? See, you don't be looking to get something for nothing all the time. Sometimes you got to show your responsibility and your gratitude that you're thankful for something that happened for you. See, the Sunday before last, you didn't have to work for the $10. I just gave it to you. But now I got a job for you to do, and you are coming, and I know you want to make some money, and I ain't mad at you. But what I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you 20 right now because you owe me 10. You owe me 10. I didn't make no decision on how. I didn't say you had to pay me back or what, but just think about it. That ain't the first time I gave you some money. So he looked at me, and I said, look at me in my eyes when I'm talking to you so that you know I mean what I say, and I know that you understand what I say, and that when you respond back to me and tell me that it's okay, I want to see your eyes. I say that's how a man communicates to another man or communicate to anybody else. He let them know I mean business. So he picked his head up and he looked at me and he said, okay, Pops, I got 10. You gonna give me 20, right? I start laughing. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give you 20. So you just got paid. You just made $30 because now that $10 that I gave you last week, right? That don't count as something I gave you. That count as something you worked for. So he cleaned it up, and he did a very good job. And I was so relieved, and I was tickled and laughing as I walked away. And after he got, hey, how you doing, Rachel? I'm going to read what you got there in a minute. Hold on a second. After he got through cleaning the stuff up, he had his little phone. He was charging his phone up. See, now Shorty got $20 in his pocket, and it didn't even take him 35 minutes to do. It didn't take him 35 minutes to do it, right? So really, technically, he just accounted for the $10 I gave him. He got 20. He made a $30 process. And something I saw when he was walking away, I say, Shorty, where you going? He said, I'm going over to the court, Pops. I'll see you later. I say, all right, man, make sure you don't lose your money. He said, I got it. As an elder, he's not going to forget that process. He's going to remember when he be talking to somebody, he's going to look them in the eyes. He's going to understand and mean what he say and say what he means. He's going to know that don't look for somebody to give you something for free. He's going to know that you got to earn it. And this is good when you have a good sense of moral and respect. One of the things that my wife came right out there and saw what he did, and she said, oh, I got to tell y'all this too. This is another part of the story. I love it. I love it because it was so amusing. So my wife came out there and she saw what he did, and I told him before my wife came out, I say, my wife gonna be so happy to see this little area cleaned up. So my wife came out and she said, oh my goodness, oh, you did such a good job. Oh, you did such a good job. And my wife went back. I said, I told you she was gonna be happy. He said, well, why don't you give me a tip? And he looked me right in my eyes when he said it too. He said, why don't you give me a tip? I said, my man, I had to give him a high five. I just really was so intrigued with that, but I had to tell y'all that story. But that's about being an elder and being one we know where we're supposed to be. So Rachel, how you doing? You said, enjoy being my grandparents, and they shared, enjoy being with my grandparents, and they shared so much with me, and I still use their knowledge into my life today. So much wisdom that was passed into my heart. I love when my mother and I share knowledge together and compare what works and laugh so hard at some of the funny things they did, but they survived life. They're gone now, but their wisdom is carrying on when we share it with humanity. Rest in peace, Minnie Bell Tyson, Grandma Pope. Come on. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I remember many things that my grandmother said to me. My grandmother told me many things. Miss Louise Shepherd. Let me tell you something. My grandmother was one. Everybody's grandma was a queen, but mine was the queen of queens. My grandmother instilled some things in me, man, that I'm so thankful. The wisdom that she gave me to make me be a decent man. I ain't gonna tell you that I did everything right. I didn't. I got many things that I had to go back and repent. I had to go back to God and talk to God and say, God, forgive me. as I've moved in my senior years to become an elder, a man of wisdom. And a lot of us right now, we have to do just that. Remember with your young kids, don't be afraid to talk to them. Don't be afraid to tell them about the old days. Let me tell you something. Any one of my grandsons get around me and we going in the house and I see one of them try to go in the door before their grandmother or even before their mother or even their sister and them. Hey, don't do that. You let them go in first. If I see they get out the car and there's bags in the car, I'm like, what are you doing? You go get those bags. You know what you're teaching them? You're teaching them responsibility. You're teaching them respect just by making them go get the bags. We was out there having a good time in the backyard around the fire pit, and one of my grandsons wanted to tell a story. His father was so proud of him because he knew that he had his grandparents out there and his mother and father. So he didn't want to use the words in the joke that were profanity. So his mom said, I'm giving you a pass to tell the joke. And the father said, go ahead, you got the pass, son, to tell a joke. So they was telling him, we know it's some profanity in it. Go ahead and tell a joke. But he didn't want to do it. He didn't. But you know what that came from? That came from the wisdom from the elders that was put into him. And I admired my grandson for that he had enough respect for us sitting there not to want to use the profanity in front of us, even though that he was told he had a pass to go ahead and say the joke and use the profanity. And when he did say it, his father was over there. He was just pumping his chest up because he said, man, do you see that? 17. He just turned 17 on June 8th. But so at the time he was 16, soon to be 17. He didn't want to use the profanity in front of us. Come on now. That's wisdom. That's wisdom that was tattooed into his heart. That's wisdom that was tattooed into his mind from an elder. That's from the people that before him, like his great grandmother, because his mom, hell of a mother, but I'm gonna tell you, his grandma, a hell of a grandmother too. And the way they get around us, we treat them like they are grandchildren. They're not our friends. We give them the knowledge. I talk to them. Me and one of my other grandsons, Kamari, we was sitting out there and he was talking to me and we was talking about some of my military experiences. And, he really excited me when he started asking me what was it like when I was in another country and how did I handle it. And I was telling them some of the things that I experienced when I was only 18, 19 years old and I was running in the streets of the Philippines, patrolling the jungles over there. I was telling him about these things and he was like, and he was only 18. I was like, yeah. But I told him some of the things that I learned. And, and I'm sure as an elder, that's going to stick with him. So long story short, what I'm trying to tell you is this: know your position. Know your position as the elder. Be responsible and share your knowledge and your love to your young people. Share that information. Talk to these young people. Tell them about what it's like to have a job and be loyal on your job. Tell these boys when you're talking to your grandson, put the guns down. Put them down. You don't want to go to penitentiary. You want to be a doctor, lawyer. You want to be the president of the United States because it's not impossible. We've seen all this happen. We know what country we're in. We're in America. Let me tell you something about America. America can eat you up or it can build you up. For real. We got people coming over here that didn't have a dollar. They didn't have a dollar, and now they are multi-millionaires. They came over here with the right attitude, listening to the elders, which was in their countries, telling them, if you get to that land, get over there and you get it for what they got. And believe me, they did that. A lot of the people have come here and done that. And what we have to do is start going back to our ancestors and talk to them and find ways to maneuver through this. And most of them are going to tell you, first have God in your life. Make sure you have the Holy Spirit in your walk. And then you remember, treat people like you want to be treated. Show respect. Show love. These are the things that we got to, as elders, we got to put it back into our kids. Why would a kid get on the subway and want to look at you? And I'm 60-some years old and he's 17 and he want to try me. Why would he want to do that? That's because he don't have no common sense. See, as an elder, I would tell them, don't mess with that old man, because that old man he ain't gonna wrestle with you. What that old man gonna do? He gonna try to pop your head off your shoulders. That what I would tell a young girl, don't get in the car with this guy. He's too old for you to be in the car with him. Why would he want to take you to get some ice cream when you know you ain't supposed to be going? Why would you go? He talking about, I just want to talk to you. Elders, we prepare them for these things. And I don't mean to use those drastic things like that, but in this day and time, as an elder, we got to prepare them. We got to get them where they understand how important education is and how important it is to pray, have faith in God, and move forward. We have to put ourselves in those positions. Let me tell you something. I know that it is my responsibility to continue to talk to them young guys, because I can tell you many guys that did that for me. Mr. Putman from Alexandria, Virginia, Mr. Gaines from Alexandria, Virginia, Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Ben, Mr. Williams, Mr. Wilson. Man, I can tell you, and my grandfather, John Shepard, I can tell you, my Uncle Woody, I can tell you, my cousin June, I can tell you. These are people who are older than me that used to talk to me. My Uncle Arthur, my Uncle Pimpico. Come on. These was my elders that tell me how to act, tell me how to walk, tell me how to talk. I got to a point, man, that I start to realize, man, that I was blessed. I was blessed to get that wisdom. Bless somebody else if you're an elder. You over 50, sit back and take time and talk to your young kids. Tell them what it's like. And you got to remember something. There's a process in life as we move. God got it set in this rhythm that it rolls. You know something? I remember about 25, 30 years ago when I used to see a 60-year-old man, I'd be saying, look at old dude. He's smooth. That's a smooth old man. Well, guess what? I'm the smooth old man today. You feel me? Get on the point where you handle your business. Know your position as the elder. Get out and just try to do the right thing. It says so-called African Americans are the true Native Americans. I don't know where that came from. I don't understand that. I don't know what you mean. It says so-called African Americans are true Native Americans. Okay. But much respect to who just wrote that. I can't even. I ain't even going to. I see it. So if it's something positive that you meant to come from that statement, please explain it. And no disrespect to you if it was something that that's not going to come across very positive to some young people or the elders. I would prefer we don't get into that. But I just want you to know, as an elder, I'm going to speak my piece, and I'm going to speak truth, and I'm going to speak it because I want to see you survive. I want you to be able to do what you have to do. And our elders going to tell you, our struggle in this country is something powerful. Our struggle in this country is something powerful. So with that said, I came on a little late, and just hold on a minute. I'm going to get us out of here. You know how we do. And somebody was telling me the other day, they'd be watching my program and they'd be like, man, you be doing all kind of stuff. Guess what? I do. But guess what I do? I do what I have to do to be obedient. I do what I have to do to stay grounded. And I'm going to continue to move forward with the People to People podcast. I'm going to tell y'all can be prepared. We may have maybe just a few more interviews that's going to go down. And then we're going to go into hiatus. And we're going to shut down for a minute so that we can what's up there, Andre? How you doing, bro? How's everything? My man, peace and blessings to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going into hiatus, and we're going to put ourselves in a position where we are going to reformulate how we come across the information we're going to be sharing, the guests that we be going to have on the air. All of that's going to make a big difference, and I'm excited about that, and I hope you are too. And I don't want you to think I'm not quitting, I'm not giving up. My elders, who I speak with, have told me to continue moving forward, no matter what, because we have a mission. We're on a journey, and this journey is not just about me. It's not just about you, but it's all about us. In Yah we trust. So I want people to know that it's important that in your position as an elder, man, take your position serious. Share that knowledge. Talk to your children. I don't care how old they are. My sons was over here. One of them 43. The other one is 38. Right? And we were talking and we was having conversation. And sometimes I have to back them up and say, ho, you ain't been there. You don't know what it's like yet. You can't tell me, bro, you ain't reached 50 yet. One of my sons say, Dad, what is it like to be 63? I say, let me tell you something. It ain't like being 50. I can tell you that. It ain't like being 40. My knowledge and information I got today, man, if I had this when I was 30 and 40 years old, man, I'd be a beast. And you know how you can get it? For some of the young people that hear this, go to your elders. Go to the elders. Let them talk to you. Check this out. I know sometimes some of the stuff I say go a little out of the way. But if you think about shooting dope, go to a junkie and ask him how he feeling if he would ever stuck that needle in his arm the first time he did it. I guarantee you he going to tell you no. Go to a bank robber and you think about doing something crazy and ask him, say, yo, man, how many years you do? He said, man, I did 30 years. Ask them, yo, if you had the knowledge and the wisdom, would you have done it? I guarantee you 99.9% of them going to tell you no. We got people that out here making mistakes in their life because they don't have guidance. They don't have the structure to be able to understand, what is it like to make these mistakes and then go back and have to look at them. But the wisdom of those who have lived life, especially 50 and over, shared with the young people. Let the girls know. We got girls out here having babies by guys, man. Man, they having babies by guys. They don't even know their real nickname. I'm talking about the real nickname, Boo Boo. That's what they used to call him when he was 7, 8 years old. Why? Because he used to boo boo on himself. And you might not find that important, but guess what? When you get in there and use the wisdom and knowledge to find out, elders tell these kids, go back, get the information. Find out who these people they sleeping with. Find out the people you walking with. Find out what their intentions are. And ask your kids, ask these young people, what do you want for tomorrow? I be asking these young guys all the time, what is it that you're trying to do? Because when I was your age, I was thinking like this. What are you thinking? As an elder, I plant the seeds. As a wise man, I give them my knowledge, help them so that they can have better opportunities than myself. So I just want to say peace and blessings to everybody out there. I thank you for joining in. This is People to People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. My name is Rodney Grimes, and guess what? I just do what I do. I walk in the step of the Holy Spirit. And when God tells me to do something, I stay grounded and faithful. And I don't have no problems with just acknowledging that. Even as a wise man, I'm sharing some wisdom with you. Y'all just have a good evening and be blessed, okay? Every Wednesday, Friday night, Friday day night, Monday night, Monday, Wednesday night, Wednesday, Friday night. Give her a call. Go find out about this product. The number is 202-880-2524. And it comes in all types. This is a grape, and this is a cherry, and they had lemonade, And I'm sure they had some other flavors. And guess what? Also on here, she has some scriptures that's on here. Beloved, I wish above all things that through mayest prosperous and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. She has this written on the package so that before you throw it in the trash, you can read it and get something positive from it. This is amazing. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Good evening. What is saying? What's up, Mark? My man. Peace and blessings.